All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of Coffees and Cross Faces. It's Chris and Josh with Rogue Grappling. We're joined here today with the reigning and defending Rogue Grappling Season 1 Grand Prix champion, Joel Jacquard. So, Joel, thanks very much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's my pleasure. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you again, man. Happy New Year. Hope the family's all well.
Yeah, family's good. New Year's was good. I ate too much, but other than that, it was a good time.
Yeah,
we all did.
We had fun. It's
par for the course.
It's over though.
Yeah.
Time to get back in the training mode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I mean, Joel, the way we normally kind of run and roll with these things is just have some open-ended questions, and then we switch on to like an Ask Me Anything format. You may have seen some of the questions people were asking you online. So, I guess can you start off just by telling us a little bit about when you found Jiu-Jitsu and how you got into martial arts up until today?
Yeah, I started training I guess in 2007. I'm from Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, and at the time I was still here, and I found some traditional karate guy, and I think what happened was when MMA got popular, he started to say he taught MMA. There was nobody else around the town doing it. There's only 5,000-10,000 people here, a small town, so he kind of could get away with it. And I found myself to him, and not too long later, I went to a grappling tournament. It was in Bahia, 2007. I competed in it with barely any training whatsoever, real training. And I found 4 guys from my hometown. I was like, "You guys train jiu-jitsu?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." We train in our buddy's spare bedroom. And I was like, "Okay." So I started going there 3 days a week. And at that time, I started doing boxing and stuff at a local boxing gym in Yarmouth. But them guys, at the time, we're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu off of YouTube, or back then it was Submissions 101. You remember that website, submissions101.com?
No.
It was before YouTube was a thing. Anyway, we were learning crap off of that, and then I moved to Truro for school in 2008, and that's when I met Mickey Marshall at Merrimack Athletics, Scott Noss. I started training with Pat Carroll. I started training with him, and I started doing jiu-jitsu there, and then I did some kickboxing fights, and then I went to Toronto for the summer. I trained up there at Extreme Couture, and I trained with some really good guys like Darcy Hemmings, and I can't remember, Alessandro Camargo. He has 4 names on Facebook, but everybody calls him Chi Chi. He used to always face Presley in the finals of the Abu Dhabi trials in Montreal, every year. And then Ostap. I only know him by his first name, Ostap. He's a black belt now. He's out west. So there's good guys there, but eventually they branched out to Toronto BJJ and Open Mat. Anyway, I was there for 6 months. And then I went back to Truro, did some more kickboxing fights. Then I went back to Toronto, trained at Extreme Tour and Elite Mississauga with Claude Patrick a little bit. And I went back to Yarmouth, and the training was brutal. There was barely anybody there. And then I just said, "Frick this, I got to move to the city." I moved to the city, and I was training at Titans for a long time, very long time, and you guys know the rest of it from there.
So did you move to the city just for training? Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I worked for a pool company in Toronto, and then they would lay me off in the off season, so I was on unemployment, and I just got tired of living in Yarmouth. I was there for the summer, and the training was not good, and I went to Halifax just to get better training.
Awesome.
And fresh out of school, I did my work placement at the jail in Yarmouth, and they were like, "Oh, we're hiring some people. Why don't you apply?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I can't get stuck in Yarmouth." I went back to Toronto just to clean pools and train at Extreme Couture, and then when I come home, I was stuck here, and then I was like, "No, I gotta move to Halifax." And at the time, I was like, "Man, I need to go to Halifax to get better. I need it." And now it's "Shit, man, I need to go to New York to get better back then."
Yeah.
But at the time, coming from Yarmouth, Halifax was the big spot. So it was probably 2013. I was doing up until then kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, helping the MMA guys a little bit. And then 2013, I kind of said, frig everything else. Let's focus on jiu-jitsu. That was pretty much it.
Right on. So 2013, you started focusing exclusively on jiu-jitsu. Were you still at Titans at that point, or can you tell us a bit about Halifax BJJ Society and getting that kind of up and running?
Yeah, so I was at Titans in 2013. I opened up Halifax BJJ in 2017, and basically, man, the reason I wanted to do it was more so whenever I started going to Marcelo's in 2015. early 2015, and I was obsessed, man. I was like, man, this place is amazing. This is awesome. And it was my first time like being at a real high level gym, jiu-jitsu gym, and it opened my eyes to like how to run a jiu-jitsu only gym, the advantages of having a jiu-jitsu only gym, and of course that is you can train morning, noon, night. You know what I mean? There's classes all day. So like you appeal to so many people because everybody has different schedules, different lives. So when I came home, you know, Titans is an amazing MMA school. Like it's the best and around, in my opinion. But because of that, you're running so many programs out of there. So jiu-jitsu wasn't available all day. And when I went to New York, I was like, man, I want to get really good at jiu-jitsu. So I want to be able to train all day. And we just weren't able to. So it was a tough decision, but it was basically like, this is my dream to get really good at jiu-jitsu. And it was always my dream to like open up a gym someday. I didn't think it'd be so soon, but going to Marcelo made me think like it's time. Like you're almost, how old was I? 2 years ago, I was 29. And it's like, man, I gotta do this sooner than later. And everything kind of fell into place. Like it kind of went way faster than we thought. But you know, I just had to like, I always tell people I had to follow my heart, man. Like it was a tough decision. I lost some friends, and you know, people want to say you're creonte or you're a traitor or whatever, but like at the end of the day, man, I had to do me, and I think Halifax needed a jiu-jitsu only school because we were the first people to really advertise a 6 a.m. class, noon class, multiple evening classes, and now our classes are jam-packed. Like the city needed that, and then we attracted a lot of guys who were at other gyms that train multiple martial arts. We got all the serious jiu-jitsu guys because like they're giving me an opportunity to train jiu-jitsu twice a day if I want or if my life allows me to. And that was it. That was all we want. We just want to train jiu-jitsu. And like we have guys who like supplement their MMA training with us, and that's totally cool, man. We have guys who train at other gyms, but they're like, can we do our grappling with you guys? Like, of course. I have nothing to do with MMA, just jiu-jitsu. That's my only focus. Like I get a lot of people message us, do you guys do MMA? Probably because like Chris Galades advertises us. He fights and he does his grappling with us, and sometimes we let him use the gym to do some pads or whatever, but we don't do any MMA in our gym. So when people message me, I always send them Titans, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing, man, like you guys have a great vibe at Halifax BJJ because, I mean, every time that I'm in town for work, if I can sneak in for a class at night and get a sweat, like I'm very thankful for the hospitality. I know you snuck in a few times and get some rounds in.
And I'm always shocked at how many bodies you have on the mat. Doesn't matter which class, and like it's just like class after class are just packed.
It's crazy, man. Our morning class this week had like over 20, 2 days. Like it's great. A morning class, 6:15 a.m. Man, I wasn't even there. I couldn't even wake up. Presley texted me. He's like, man, we had 20 plus people, and I'm like, dude, this is getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's really good.
How many classes do you guys run in a week?
Oh, I think 22. Or maybe 20, 24, maybe 24 now or something like that. We just added 2.
I thought it was like 27 last time I counted. I looked
27.
I think I looked at the schedule. It's something crazy like that.
Okay, maybe with all the kids' classes. And
yeah.
I guess if you count open roll too, that'd be an extra one. Yeah. We're working on something big, man. Something big in the new year. I ain't gonna say much yet, but
teasers.
It's in the works, you know, something really big, and everything's just going to be bigger and better. So cool. We're working on it. So once it comes more in stone, I don't want to like get too excited and throw all my eggs in a basket and something fall through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You got to leave something out there so people keep that excitement, right?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. So for those who don't know who Joel is or why we're interviewing him, he was the first Rogue Absolute Division winner. He went on to compete in our Grand Prix champion, no time limits, no weight divisions. He won the belt. He won it all, and he's the first one for 2019. So, with that, do you want to jump right into some questions I got from Instagram or even inboxes? And I think you can do the Facebook ones after that.
Yeah, far away.
All right, first one. What stands out the most when you see younger competitors, and what do you like to see from them?
I think like when I see like young people compete, it's more like their maturity, how they handle like a loss, or how they handle themselves when they win. Because like you have adults that compete, and we're supposed to be mature. We're supposed to have our head on straight. We're older, we're more mature. But like when you see a kid who's really disciplined and mature, that's what I love to see. More than anything, I'm like, man, that kid's special. That kid's gonna be really good. Or you know what I mean? Or how well they listen to their coach, or how well they stay calm in like an uncomfortable situation, right? That's what I like to see from like young kids. That's really impressive because like that's something you just don't learn naturally sometimes, or maybe your parents upbring you that way. I don't know how you just learn that, but if you just get a kid that's naturally calm in like an uncomfortable situation, or handles himself well in front of a crowd when you feel embarrassed if you just lost, like that's what I like to see. I think that's really cool when I see that. And I think, like, obviously, probably a lot of jiu-jitsu kids instructors are trying to develop their kids to do that. And you should, right? Because martial arts is all about respect. And that's what I tell my students all the time. I'm like, man, like, adults, kids, I'm like, I don't care if you lose because the ref messed up. Don't ever question the ref. Don't ever question your opponent. Like, just be respectful. And if you have an issue, come talk to me in quiet. But like always show respect. That's what I tell everybody, and we try to do that with our kids. But that's the coolest thing I think when you see a kid that can handle the adversity or the embarrassment or the false embarrassment. We should never be embarrassed when we lose, but we are sometimes.
Oh, totally. Like even as adults, we see people break down after a loss, and I get it. But if you can learn it early on, that's awesome.
Losing sucks, man. Losing sucks.
Yeah.
Like, man, I've got beat up a lot back in the day, and it's hard, but it's how you get better, man. That's what I tell my students when I see that they're like sad or upset. I'm like, trust me, if you bounce back from this, you'll get better because of this. You know, it's not that bad. It's just a little bump in the road.
Yeah, same, man.
And like at the end of the day, too, like I tell them too, I'm like, man, if the worst thing that happens to you this month is you lose a jiu-jitsu match, your life's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a good point, man.
Yeah, it's like they say, like pressure makes diamonds, you know, and being out there and trying to perform when the lights are on and the eyes are on you, like that has a way of changing you.
It's tough, man. It's tough. We've always put this false pressure on ourselves. Like, I think I was talking to Josh the other day about this, like performance anxiety, pressure, and it's always like false pressure we put on ourselves. I don't want to let my team down. I don't want to look shitty. You never look bad when you go out and try.
Yeah.
It's the people on the couch that are judging you from the outside that look bad. Like, you never look bad for trying. And like I tell my students, like, you're willing to go through that discomfort, spend a little bit of money to do it, but you're representing us and representing something we believe in so much. So like, whenever you sign up and you show up, man, you're a champion. Like, a lot of people won't do that. And you see these guys that like run gyms and they compete, and they don't like they lead by example. Like, that's so important as coaches, like, to compete. And you see it quite a bit, especially at your events. I notice like a lot of coaches are competing, and that's awesome.
Yeah. What motivates you personally to compete?
It's funny, it changes. Like, I think back in the day, it was always like, you want to be that alpha male, you want to be that cool guy that wins jiu-jitsu, or like, you know, I'm good at something. And that's what it always was. And then when I opened my own gym, I want to lead by example. So if I have people that want to compete, I want to be able to be a good coach to them, and to be a good coach to them while they're competing, especially if you're feeling nervous. I can be like, man, I understand how you're feeling. This is what helps me. Imagine if I never competed and I told them that. What are they going to think? Like, dude, how do you know? Like, you never done it.
Yeah.
But I do it. So I want to be a good instructor. Like, that's my end goal here, is to be a really good teacher. I think competing teaches you that, and you learn so quick by competing. I said this to somebody in the gym the other day. I said, I may do some mistake when I'm rolling somebody in the gym over and over, and I forget about it. But I guarantee you, if I make that mistake and it costs me a gold medal in New York, I'm never going to forget it, and I'm going to fix it right away. That's why I like competing. Now, too, like, having a daughter is really motivating me to compete for her, because I want her to grow up and be like, I guess it's kind of a selfish reason, but like, I want her to be like, my dad was cool, man. He tried his best, and he did these tournaments, and he won this and he won that, and you know, I want her to know too, like, I failed a lot too, and it's okay to fail, but we just keep working hard, and you'll get okay eventually.
Yeah. Listen, man, the other thing too is Charlotte starts coming home with teenage boys.
Yeah, 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 that would be a problem. But
We got a bunch of
someday.
questions. Next one. How often do you practice wrestling?
Dude, I hate wrestling, man.
Next question then.
No, no. um, dude, like, it's funny, man.
Do you ever practice just strictly wrestling, or you just
No,
incorporate it? Yeah.
I used to like when I used to do the MMA stuff. Like, I did a little bit of wrestling, so it's tough because like you want to get good at wrestling. I'd love to be good at judo, but I'm like I'm doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like, how many matches stay standing? Like for over a minute. Like, not too much. So how much time am I gonna focus? I'm gonna win the match on the ground, hopefully, but I have like, man, maybe 3 to 5 takedowns and like maybe 2 takedowns, but like 3 or 4 different ways to set them up. That's it. If they don't work, I'm pulling guard. Or if I walk out on the mat and Buddy looks like a wrestler, if he even looks like a wrestler, I'm pulling guard. If I grab his collar and he does some crazy great grip break, I'm just assuming he's a judo guy and I'm pulling guard. That's it. But in the gym, I always laugh, like, because somebody would be like, "You want to start standing?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I pull guard right away because every injury I've ever had is from wrestling. So I'm like, I'm gonna wrestle hard in the tournaments, but like in practice, once in a while I'll wrestle, and like I do wrestling technique probably twice a week, or maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Like during a no gi warm up, I'll do some wrestling drills. But like straight up live wrestling, I never done just a wrestling round in years because I'm just like, it's too hard.
Right.
Wrestling's tough, man. The wrestling, like you
It's a
look at
hard
that
sport.
Ilya
Yeah.
guy, like man, that Ilya guy is a freak athlete. And like it's just you run into somebody like him, he's hard to beat in a 5 minute match.
Sounds scary.
It's,
Oh.
I'm scared. No, man, that's what I said.
Yeah, no, he is.
No, he's a beast.
He's an athlete for sure.
No,
Yeah.
no time limit. That's me all day. But a 5 minute match, he'd be tough, man. He'd
Yeah.
be super tough. A 10 minute match, he'd be tough. No time limit, sub only, man. But dude, once he learns submission, he's gonna be a bad dude, man. Wrestling's the best, a good base, man.
Yeah.
Wrestlers are tough and they're just have that work ethic, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would like if I go back in time, I would have started wrestling when I was like 3, and then do jiu-jitsu when I was like 7 or something.
We didn't start that early, but Chris and I both started as wrestlers for grappling. Yeah.
That's good. It's a good base.
Well, it didn't help me.
That's a lot of fucking years ago.
Yeah. Next. You've always got your headphones on before you compete. What are you listening to?
Oh man, that's like
Tell
my
the truth.
secret.
It's
That's
Taylor
my
Swift.
secret, man. That's my secret. Like when I compete, it's like a whole routine, man. Like a half hour before I compete, I go like get my clothes, I get my headphones on. I actually talked to Emily Kwok about this, and she said, "But Joel, what if you ever forgot your headphones? Like, would you get really thrown off?" And I'm like, I don't know. I never forgot them, but it's a very routine thing for me, man. And then I listen to my certain playlist, and then when I'm on deck, I play the same song for the last 3 years on repeat every time I'm on deck. And
You gonna tell us the song?
uh,
If it's
any-
if
How
it's
about you give us a
spiritual-
genre?
Yeah.
oh no, the whole playlist is Biggie, Jay-Z, and like a couple like random songs. But the song I listen to on repeat is Hypnotized. And like the only reason I hate saying it is because Conor McGregor always uses it, and it pisses me off because like people probably think I'm a Conor McGregor fan, but I was listening to that before I knew who
Yeah,
Conor
it's an
McGregor
old
was.
tune.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. 3 years ago, it kind of just clicked. It was like a song that makes me feel really good, really happy, and pumps me up. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. So whenever I'm on deck, it goes on repeat. It's kind of like a joke at the gym.
Yeah. How long should a brand new student train before they compete?
If their goal is to be a competitor, they should just compete like as soon as possible. Even a month or two, man. I have people like, I want to be training a month or two. Can I compete? I'm like, absolutely, you can if you want to do it. We'll be there to coach you. We'll help you as much as we can, but just don't have like crazy expectations for the first one.
Right.
Because like even if you train for a year, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm ready. You're gonna make it be something that it's not.
Mhm.
It's like, dude, if you show up to an open roll, you roll 10 rolls, you're ready. You're good. Just don't put too much weight on the outcome. Just go and like get the first one over, and then you'll at least the next time you know you're nervous, it'll be like familiar, and you'll get more familiar with those nerves and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think if you want to be better, you compete as much as you can and as often as you can, and then the uncomfortable feelings and nervousness becomes a little more familiar, and it becomes easier to deal with.
I think we've had somebody compete as early as like 3 weeks in. I don't know if it was your school or one in New Brunswick, but I remember somebody telling me
Maybe.
they were 3 weeks
Yeah.
in. Crazy.
That's badass. Man.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
for it.
I think she won too.
Sweet.
What's the next one? Should a newly promoted blue belt compete right away, or take time to catch up to the more experienced blues before jumping back in?
Oh, compete right away. Right away.
Yeah.
No question.
That was an easy answer.
Yeah.
What type of music do you like to listen to while training?
Same. Hip hop.
The same playlist and everything?
No, I got different playlists for the gym, but a lot of the same songs are on there with a couple like different ones, the less pump up.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually like hip hop mostly.
Are there any specific supplements to training you could recommend, like video series, books, or anything like that?
Man, as far as like other than training at the gym, stuff that I like study is I got like Marcelo MG in action. I love MG in action, especially because he shows like live rolls. Some people learn from watching live rolls. Some people learn from watching instructions. I got both, and also like Lucas Lepree's website I got, and that's amazing too. And like Lucas and Marcelo are such like different styles. And they're different styles in how they roll, obviously, but in how they teach. And I really like them too. And I think the biggest thing is you find somebody really good that, like one of them, that you do some of their stuff, and that way you can like kind of connect with it more. Like for example, I became a big fan of Marcelo way back in the day, even before I knew how good he was. But I was like, man, he's short and stocky like myself. We both got big calves and we both got big legs, but we're short. So I was like, anything that works for him should work for my body type, because like I'm not gonna like pick somebody like Keenan Cornelius who's like super long. A lot of his stuff just may not work, or maybe a lot more difficult for somebody shorter. So that's why like, right away I gravitate towards Marcelo, and then the way like Lucas passes, like I'm a huge fan. He's the best passer in the world, arguably. And I loved like the cut through, and I've been working a lot on that. So it's really cool like to find somebody that you're a big fan of, their style, and then try to just like learn from them, because obviously they're doing it the best. You know what I mean? Like we had Lucas for a couple seminars, and like, dude, that guy's attention to detail is insane.
Yeah.
And he was showing like stuff, and he was using me to show the team. And afterwards, he'd be like, "Yo, Joel, I use this on so and so at Euros," or "Joel, I use this at ABCC." And I'm like, "Bro, like you're showing us all your best stuff." And he's like, "Of course, Joel. Like I show everybody my best stuff." And I'm like, "That's dope." And then it's cool because then I watch these matches and I'm like, "Yeah, he showed that." And then I might have forgot a detail, but I've seen it on the training. So I can relate to them too a lot because I trained with them, and especially Marcelo. I spend a lot of time up there, and lucky to get the role of Marcelo quite a bit, and have him coach me and have him correct me. He's always correcting. He's always correcting. So I like to watch them for them reasons. But like books, I don't read much books other than I think I was telling you at Mind Gym. It's just like sports psychology. It really helped me get my mind intact. Like I owe a lot to that book. And actually, Elliot Bayev, he's a black belt in Toronto who runs Open Mat. He's the one who recommended me that book in 2015. And I tell Elliot every time I see him every year at Noki Fans, I'm like, dude, that book changed my life. So
yeah, I just started working my way through it, and it's been awesome so far.
It's such a good book, man. I must have recommended that book to like 30 people. Everybody in my gym says they get nervous. I'm like, just read Mind Gym, it'll help. It won't fix everything, but it'll give you a guideline.
Nice. Do you tape your fingers?
No.
Never?
I have, but maybe like 1% of the time in my rolling life, like because I think we were just talking about like my fingers don't get beat up with my style of jiu-jitsu as bad as like somebody who plays spotter guard or like something like that. I'm a half guard, get up and wrestle you kind of guy, pressure pass. Like I don't use the sleeve grip as much. But sometimes my fingers hurt, obviously, and I feel like taking them, but I'm just too lazy. Or I get to the gym and I don't have enough time. Especially with a new baby.
Yeah.
Time is precious.
I think I'm like 10 years in, I've taped my finger once.
Yeah, I mean, some people might be more prone to it, but I'm lucky in that sense. I just got the ugly years.
Yeah. I mean, they're fine.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you would give to other competitors?
Shoot, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Where do you start? Like, if I could just like had to just keep it short, it'd be just have fun, man. Just have fun. Like, don't put this pressure on yourself. Like, losing a jiu-jitsu match ain't that bad. Like, you want to win, yeah, it's great. But you think about if you lose, you get to learn so much, and you get so much more motivated. Well, some people get motivated. Some people might curl up and not do it again. But if you make it fun, if you just think like, man, I love jiu-jitsu so much. I'm really lucky I get to compete today. Rather than like, oh my gosh, shoot, like today's the day. I hope I do well. It's like, frig that, man. You get to go do what you love in front of people. Some instances you get to travel. Like, you get to travel to New York City. It's like, I get to go compete today in New York City. How cool is that? I'm going to make it really fun. And guess what? I'm going to win, or I'm going to learn. And either way, I'm going to go see the city after. I'm going to eat really good food. So just don't focus on like the result. Just focus on, I'm lucky that I get to do jiu-jitsu today. And test myself. And you could win or you could lose. But nobody cares, man. It's like I tell people all the time. I'm like, when I lose, do you guys think less of me? They're like, no, never. We're proud of you. I'm like, exactly. That's what everybody thinks. Anybody who cares. When I win, do you care? Like, you say congratulations, and then it's like, so what's next? And it's like, oh yeah, we're on to the next thing already. Like, you don't even get to like celebrate your wins that long. Like, it's already like, okay, I did okay at Pan Am's, but it's like, oh shoot, I got New York Open coming up. Now we got to work hard to that. So it's just on to the next, man. People forget whether you win or lose after a day or two.
It's a great mindset.
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, it's not the destination; it's the journey, right?
Yeah, dude, 100%, 100%.
And the last one from Instagram is, what's your favorite move from Turtle Guard?
If I'm in turtle guard,
Yeah.
like if the threat of my back getting taken is there, get a guard, man. I'm not doing no crazy arm bars or no crazy shit. It's fundamental, man. Get my guard back.
Turtle Guard is a guard. Joe and Kelly's going to kill me.
Professor Kelly, you didn't hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm going to turtle just to avoid the points, and I'm trying to get the heck out of there. Get a guard back. So
Yeah.
my jiu-jitsu is not too crazy. I'm not spinning on my head. I'm just wrestling, getting on top, and trying to pressure pass you. And that's it. Nothing crazy. No berimbolo. None of that crazy stuff.
Makes sense. I think Chris is going to move into questions that we got from our Facebook page now.
All right. So, Joel, how do you motivate yourself on days when you don't feel like getting to the gym or when you don't feel like getting out of bed? How do you find that spark?
So it's a lot easier now that I run my gym. I'm a teacher there, and the way I think of it, like, okay, maybe I don't want to train today, but there's people there that do, and there's people there that are getting ready for tournaments. So I got to be there for them, because when I'm getting ready for stuff, I hope the gym's packed, and I hope people are there willing to work hard to help me achieve my goals. So that's a big one. It's being there just for other people.
Right on. Yeah. Legitimately, how many fourth graders do you think you could beat in a fight? And assume they're coming at you 5 at a time.
5 at a time?
In 1 minute intervals.
In 1 minute intervals.
So I got to eliminate if I eliminate the 5 in like 45 seconds, I got 15 seconds to rest.
Yeah.
Man, what kind of fight is this?
Every 1 minute, there's another fourth grader.
What kind of fight is this?
Straight mixed martial arts, man.
To the death.
Schoolyard rules.
Man, these kids are varying sizes.
But they're still within that fourth grade limits.
Man, I'm going to say I bang out at least 30 of them. I think 30 of them.
So 6 waves.
I would never, ever condone violence against anybody. Ever.
Unless they're in the fourth grade.
but just for fun, I think I could submit 30 of them.
If it wasn't jiu-jitsu, what would it be, man? Where'd you spend your time? What would be your passion?
That's a good one.
Like the real life me now, but okay, here's what, in a fantasy world, if I could be anything in the world, even a world champion jiu-jitsu, I would be a basketball player, man. I play in the NBA. That'd be my absolute dream. I love basketball growing up. Like, I still love basketball. It's my favorite sport to watch. So in a dream world, if I could be anything in the world, I'd be an NBA player, man. I love basketball. I love the swagger. I love everything about basketball. The me now, like 5'9" me, if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, shoot, man, I'd probably just be like pudgy. I mean, I'm pudgy now because of holidays, but
Christmas
I'd
cookies.
probably be pretty big because I like to eat. I don't know, man. I thought about this like not too long ago, actually, because I'm like, what do people do? What do normal people do? I guess they do like beer league hockey.
Netflix.
Maybe I play like basketball, men's pickup basketball. Think I was good. Maybe do those like online fantasy football crap.
Ultimate frisbee.
I don't know, man. I did some running races back in the day just for fun to supplement my weight loss for getting down to like weight classes of jiu-jitsu. I was like, man, I'm gonna go do this 10K race. That was kind of fun, but I don't know if I can maintain that for very long. Dude, I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know. I mean, now I'd probably just kind of hang out with my daughter, but then I'd just be one of those like dads who are just like lazy and don't do it. I don't know. I don't know, man. Just like work and hang with my daughter, which is like the hang with my daughter be dope, but I don't know, man.
I think that's what other people do.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And I mean, if they're happy, that's awesome. But I need to like always be working towards something. I just don't feel like a sense of purpose, I guess, or like a challenge, or like, dude, I miss a night of training and I get anxiety. I'm like, dude, I gotta make that up. Like, but yeah, I don't know, man. But in the perfect world, I'd be a basketball player.
Right on. By your estimations, what do you think is the most important lesson for a white belt to learn?
That it's okay to lose, and you're gonna lose a lot. It's okay to suck at first. Like, you get some freak athlete and they join running, they might be pretty good at it right away, but like, if you're an athlete or a genius or whatever, like, nobody's naturally like really good at jiu-jitsu. Like, you can be like okay, but like, you're still gonna take a lot of L's in training. And I've seen like both sides of coins, like people knowing that they're gonna take a lot of L's, and some people expect them to do really good and get discouraged. But if I could like every single white belt that comes in my gym, I'm like, look, you're gonna lose a lot first, and it's okay. But you got a the biggest blank slate here out of anybody, so you're gonna put pieces together quicker. You're gonna learn real fast, but you're gonna take a lot of L's, and it's okay to lose, and you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
If you can make them understand that, that'd be bomb.
Like, man, that's one thing I've noticed from like Josh and I obviously both train at MXD, and like our club has gotten to the point where like we had our Mestre Dam Extra meeting, and we had 54 people training for a seminar. It's not a huge gym, so it was packed. But I can remember, it's fantastic. But I remember, 5, 6, 7 years ago when like a big class was like 7 or 8 guys, and like a blue belt was like a unicorn.
Yeah, it's true.
And like now I find like even rolling with some of the new white belts, once they got 6, 7, 8 months in kind of thing, because they're starting, so much later in the progression, the club's evolved. There's so many higher level guys now than there were 5, 6 years ago. The white belts come along so fast because they're getting introduced to that stuff so much earlier. And like it's really exciting and mind blowing. But yeah,
there's so much more out there, and there's when I first started, like Barambola wasn't a thing, like wearing guard wasn't a thing, this heel hook craze wasn't a thing. Like, so when you started, there wasn't as much, and there definitely wasn't much access to the internet and like videos, and you can get anything online. So like I tell like white belt sometimes at the gym when they're discouraged, I'm like, look, man, white belt you today would have kicked blue belt me's ass.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like you're doing stuff I didn't even have a clue. So you just always gotta keep them encouraged and remind them like it's a long journey, and we were all there at one point, but it'll get better. You gotta work hard.
Yeah. I think it's like the maritime community too. Like it's growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, you must see it because you're there living it in the big city, right? You're like the mecca of jiu-jitsu in the Maritimes. Seeing the number of people that are coming and how quickly they are grasping the sport, where we had to grind. Like maybe that's my old age speaking. I don't know, but I feel like I had to grind a lot more 5 years ago.
I think it's crazy too. Like I remember when me and Josh first started the gym. We're like, we just want to be able to train jiu-jitsu all day. We got our like rent and all that and all our bills figured out. And I'm like, okay, so worst case scenario, we're gonna take a loss of this much money each. We're both on the hook for this money. And we're like, but we only need 15 adults and 15 kids, and like we'll do all right, or we won't lose that much money, bro. We're at like 250 members like today.
Whoa! Wow.
It's insane. It's insane. Like I looked at the software we use to keep track of our students. I'm like blown away, man. And every week we have new people. I'm like, how do people like jiu-jitsu's? How do I even know about jiu-jitsu? Like this many people, and there's a lot of gyms and a lot of other in the city alone, and a lot of their gyms are packed too. So like, it's crazy how popular it is, but like, it's good though. It's really good.
Yeah, it's great to be a part of it and to see that evolution, man. Like it's so exciting. And seeing the tournament scene or seeing the clubs around the Maritimes, like it's inspiring to see that kind of how the sport's grasping and grabbing a lot of people.
Big time.
Next question: who would you consider to be the top 5 BJJ players in the Maritimes?
Man, how am I supposed to answer this? Like,
well, I'm number 1.
Yes, naturally.
Man, it's like what year? Like right now, today.
I think it's today. Yeah.
Top 5? How do you pick top 5? Like, I don't know. Like, it's too hard to say. Like you. It depends. Like, not the same person's gonna win over and over again. It's like, are you the best? You're the best on that day. Okay. So, but then we do that same tournament next week. It might be totally different outcomes. That's the beauty of our sport. So you can't really say like who's the top 5. Like that's tough. That's tough. And I think I read this question. The next question's like, who's your toughest competitor or toughest challenge or something? Is that next?
Yeah. Well, it's the same question. I just left that part out.
Yeah. So it's so tough, man. There's so many good guys. There's so many good gyms. That's why, like for example, like winning that belt, I really wanted this belt. Like I think I told Josh at the first event, I said I'm gonna win this belt.
Yeah.
And I truly believed it. But every once in a while, it's like, damn, dude, like I had to win 3 matches, no time limit. This is gonna be hard. But because I won, am I the best? I'm the best that day, and I made sure I was the best that day. If that tournament was the next day, maybe I would have had a shitty sleep. Maybe I wouldn't have been as on point, and I could have lost. But it's like competition time don't always mean who's better overall, but it's like who showed up today, who showed up the most prepared, who showed up the most mentally sound and just ready, right? And the no time limit thing messes with you mentally.
Yeah.
I remember one of my matches, I was like controlling, and he got out of a couple submissions, and I'm like getting tired, and I'm like, man, I gotta submit this guy to win. I gotta submit him. Like the time ain't gonna expire. I'm getting tired. How am I gonna submit him? And it like went through my head like, man, you're done. Like, but then it's like, no. He's more tired than you. He's more tired. We gotta go. Let's go. So mentally, like, and I know back in the day, man, I've got really tired and quit, and it's embarrassing to say I've been there. I've been in matches where like a way out presented something, I took it because I was tired, I was out of shape, I was ill prepared. But now, because training the mind, I'm in better shape, I can say I'll never quit, and that's why I love the no time limits. And like you look at Jared, for example. Jared is a better jiu-jitsu player than me. He's better than me at jiu-jitsu overall. So when I found out I was going to get in the finals, dude, he's whooped my butt like hundreds of times. He's probably one of the toughest guys I've ever grappled with in Canada. So I'm like, how am I going to beat him? It's like, well, he's better at me at jiu-jitsu, but today I'm going to be a better competitor. That's it. And I made sure I was. So like in that match, it was a boring match, but it's like I had to be 100% correct in all my movements. because if I slipped out and went back into his guard, he could finish me like that, and he's done it hundreds of times. But it's like, so when you say who's the top five, that's why I can't answer it. It's just too hard, you know. There's just a lot of great competitors.
There's your answer, Mike. It's Jarrett.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, actually, one of the things you touched on there, Joel, that reminds me of a great quote from Chael Sonnen. And he was saying, like, it was the Ultimate Fighter season when he was coaching, and he was telling his athletes that people will tell you failure is not an option. And he said, that's bullshit. Failure is the most readily available option. All you have to do is quit. So that mental toughness, that just desire, that willingness, that drive to just keep pushing, you really, it's the hardest thing. Like, that mental battle is almost impossible. Once you ingrain that behavior and that way of thinking, it can change your life.
Dude, and I guarantee you, more people were honest with themselves and with, like, and not afraid to admit, like, yeah, man, I quit, I gave up. I've done it, man. I've gone to, like, I was talking to my wife on the drive here about a match in Ontario Open. I was winning like 6-0. It was a 10-minute match, but we got lumped in with the black belts, adult. And it was a 10-minute match. I was winning 6-0. And I felt like really good, but there was like 3 minutes left, dude. I gassed hard. I was like, I don't know why. Like, I guess I wasn't in great shape. Back then, too, I wasn't a good competitor. I didn't understand how to, like, compete. You got to compete with a strategy. You can't go out guns a-blazing in a 10-minute match. You're going to get tired. Any normal human being. That's why you see that it's a lot of, like, calculation and slow movement in the first little bit. Usually, you get some fight like Canuto and Gary Tonin, people like that, they're going to go crazy. People like that can cardio all day. I never had that. Maybe I don't work hard enough. I don't know. But I remember saying to my wife, I remember that match. I'll never forget that match. I quit. Like, I gave up. I got too tired. He took my arm, and I remember just, like, kind of half-ass fighting. I'm like, fuck it. Like, and, dude, I said to her in the car, I was like, that's so embarrassing for me to admit to this. But that lesson killed me, dude. Killed me. This was 2015. 2015 was the worst year of my jiu-jitsu life. I almost quit, man. I almost quit jiu-jitsu. I couldn't win anything. I lost in sub-series twice. I lost to that Ontario Open. I remember feeling like a bomb. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh, I go back to the gym a loser again today. Went to New York Open, lost, come back a loser. And and again, it didn't mean that, but in my head, that's how I felt. But it was total bullcrap, right? But luckily for me, it really lit a fire under my ass and changed me. And I truly believe, like, you look at all these people that I faced recently, they might be better in jiu-jitsu, but on that one day, I happen to have it on because I feel like I'm a way better competitor than I've ever been in the last couple of years. I think being exposed to Marcelo's, Rita Mine Gym, having a lot of people at Marcelo's helped me, and then a lot of, like, supporting team around me too, and being a coach because I want to be a good role model. So I work a lot harder than I ever have in the last few years.
So, I mean, speaking of Marcelo, what's it like rolling with him?
Oh man, it's funny because, like, yeah, I explain this to people because other people have asked me, and I try to explain it like this: you roll with Mateus Diniz, he's crushing you into dust, man. Like, his side control, almost tapped me out side control. I never tapped out side control probably since I was a white belt. I thought about it with this guy. His side control is so brutal. So he grinds you, and it's painful. When Marcelo whoops you, it's beautiful. It don't hurt. He just, anything I do, he just reverses it, or he just goes around it, or he like, you know, does the matador, like, hey, take this, and then I go for it, and boom, he's gone. He's on my back. He's choked. It's really cool. And I know Marcelo, like, it makes me think, like, damn, what was it like to roll Marcelo 8 years ago? Because now he's a dad. He's not training, like, super hard, like, as he would be when he was competing. But I say that, but compared to he's still training, like, really hard. He's rolling with all his top guys. Like, I remember I was up there the week before Pan Am's, bro. He was rolling with all his black belts, and it was crazy cool to see. But, like, just to imagine what he would be like in his prime is scary, bro. But his jiu-jitsu is just beautiful, man. Like, he just makes you mess up, and maybe it's just me. Like, he just makes me mess up, man. I'm sure he's a lot meaner to the other black belts with shoulder pressure and stuff, but with me, it's just like, damn, that's beautiful. Like, he's awesome, man. he's awesome, and he's a great coach. Like he's a great coach. I remember he's coached me quite a bit now, and when I won the 3 golds in New York, I submitted most of my opponents. I won. I don't know how many points I had scored on me, maybe a couple, but not much. And I remember feeling like the man. And I went to Marcelo. I was like, Marcelo, I could never have done this without you and your team. Like you guys motivate me so much. And he goes, Joel, you did really well, but you made some mistakes. And I'm like, damn, that's why you're the best in the world. Like that's why you're the GOAT, man. So it was a good moment for me. So I remember when I got second at Pan Am's, it was like I was happy I got second, but I'm like, no, that's garbage. Like you got to get gold next time. And then I remember I won the Fall Open just in November, the New York Fall Open, and I remember being really disappointed because it was like not a good win. But that made me realize like you can never be satisfied. Like you always gotta be working for something bigger. So every time I win now, I'm like, okay, what can I do better? Because I used to just win and be like, oh yeah, I won. But him saying that to me was like, it was like, man, you're the man, dude. Like, you're the best. Like, I imagine he won ADCC. He's probably like, I should have submitted them guys quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, you got to have that mentality.
It's that pursuit of perfection.
Oh, man. I remember Wednesday. So I stayed for the week and I went up to him Wednesday. I was like, Marcelo, do you remember, like, when you said I did a lot of mistakes? He's like, he's thinking about it. He goes, yes, Joel. And he took 25 minutes and showed me everything. I was just like, I remember it's funny because you catch yourself, you're kind of like, oh my God, man, I'm so lucky. Like, but I'm like, no, pay attention. Like you get kind of that like
my fanboy.
Like, yeah, man, dude.
Yeah.
The first time I ever met him, my fanboyed hard, but now it's like, oh, it's just Marcelo's coach. It's good, you know. But I love bringing new students up there because they're like, when's Marcelo gonna come in the door? I'm like, he'll be here in like 22, and then I'm like, there he is, and you see a look on the face. I love it, man. I love it. He always comes up and says hi and meets our teammates and stuff. And he's just a good dude, man. He's a good dude. They say don't meet your heroes, they'll often disappoint. Not Marcelo Garcia, man.
Right on. When you think back to early days, 2007 on, is there anything looking back that you feel like today you were missing, or you wish you would have had earlier in your career as a martial artist?
I think if you asked anybody that, they'd have something to say.
That's why it's in there, buddy.
For me, though, it would have been, I would have went to New York sooner. I would have went to Marcelo's like in 2000. I think he opened his academy in 2009 or 10. I would have went right then because it was that moment when I went there. It opened my eyes and changed everything. And I'd probably be doing like frequent trips to New York, training there. And you could say that about any gym. I'm using Marcelo's for example, obviously because of my own circumstances. But you could have went to Atos. You could have went to like one of the big Gracie Barra, any gym that's like world class, right? Because like you get to see how they're doing it. And you get to see it firsthand. But Marcelo's, I think, is unique in the sense that like they have one gym. Like you go to like Henzo's in New York, Henzo might be at one of his affiliate gyms, or they got many gyms. Marcelo just got one like headquarters where all the guys train. So you go there at 12:30 on a Monday, Marcelo and all the guys are there, Gianni, Mateus, Marcos, all them guys are there. So that's one cool thing. And now, like, where I get a relationship with them, I always get to roll with them. And sometimes I don't want to, but they're always like, hey, Joel, like, I'm going to walk and like kind of curl away. Like, I'm like dead. And it's like, hey, Joel, come roll. And it's like Marcos. So it's like Gianni. And it's just like, damn, man, these guys must love whooping me because, but, and then some days I'm laying in bed, bro. I'm laying in bed and I'm like, really? This is how I spend all my vacation? Like, just beat up, man. Like, it's crazy, but I'm like, no, man, this is what makes you good. This is what's gonna pay off. But that's what I would have changed. The main thing. I don't know if I ever would have like moved to New York. I can still flirt with the idea of going there for like a couple months, but I don't know if I could live there, man. I don't know. But for sure, I would have went and visited a lot sooner and developed my relationship with these guys like way earlier. I don't know. I would have opened the gym obviously as a blue belt, but like. I would have went down there and been exposed earlier. That's about it.
Yes, sir. Where do you see yourself or the future of Halifax BJJ over the next 10 years?
Damn, dude, I hope we're open in 10 years. Just bigger and better. I never ran a business. I never ran even a lemonade stand growing up. So like jumping into this business aspect of running a gym was dive into the deep end, I think, for me and Josh. But luckily, we have a lot of friends and a lot of people who come down, like some of the guys from New York, like come down, or even Lucas. Lucas was really good at giving me a lot of advice. Emily Kwok's always available. These are like experienced people who've been training and doing jiu-jitsu forever. And like, man, I take their advice. Like, I feel so lucky, so fortunate to have it. And like, basically, like I earlier talked about the vibe at our gym and how like chill it is. And basically, man, I just copy everything Marcelo and them do. Because like I remember going into Marcelo's the first time, and it was just so welcoming, it was so friendly. So like people always say, "Man, I love you, John." I say, "Man, all the credit goes to MGA, man, and their staff and how they treat people. We just mimic them, and that's how we kind of like our business model. What would Marcelo's do? Okay." And I always joke to Josh, I said, "I just wanted to be a mini Marcelo's," and I think we kind of accomplished that. So, but in 10 years, I just maybe bigger. That's it, man. I just want the same vibe, the same, maybe some more classes, just good working people, but like just good people. That's always the goal. Bigger, and everybody comes and has fun. You can work hard as you want. If you want to be a competitor, you come work your butt off. If you just want to be somebody who wants to just come socialize and get out the house and burn some calories, sit out half the rolls, that's cool too. We got something for everybody.
Right on.
Whole family.
Yeah, sir. Last question from the Ask Me Anything format. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Man, I don't think I ever watched Star Trek in my life. I know like they got the dude who does this or whatever. That's it. That's all I know about. And they got that weird looking guy with the wrinkles in his head. But Star Wars all day, man. It's funny. Just like over December, I watched every Star Wars movie again to get pumped up for the episode 9. So me and my wife literally watched 1, 2, 3, the Solo movie, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and at the same time we're watching Mandalorian. So yeah, Star Wars all day.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid endorsement, I think. Yeah.
Bro, it was a battle, man, get through the movies. But they're so good, man. They're so good. But I don't think I ever finished one without falling asleep and having to finish it the next day. I'm in bed at like 9:30, man.
Yeah, this is past my bedtime as it is.
Yeah, I agree.
It's 1 p.m.
It's 5 to 9.
Yeah. We want to wrap it up there. So,
yeah, that's all the questions we had.
Yeah. We're going to thank our sponsors, Akiro Canada, BNG, Break New Ground, Technacity, Pro-Am Belts, Fight Supply, Naturally Fit Fredericton. That's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, and like I say, Joel, thanks so much for giving your time and joining us here, man. It's always great to sit down and get your perspective and your thoughts on things. Everything from Star Wars to the club to the evolution of jiu-jitsu in the Maritimes, man. It's great to count you in there and be able to pick your brain.
Yeah, always a pleasure talking to you, Joel.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next weekend.
Yeah,
Right on, brother. Cheers.